Adults aged 65 and over, known as the baby boomer generation, are one of the fastest growing populations in the nation, expected to reach more than 80 million people in 2040. Here in Florida, this generation makes up more than 4.5 million people, the second largest population of older adults in the U.S. And while many older adults continue to lead full and healthy lives well into their later years, the natural effects of aging remain, including cognitive and physical decline. For those older adults living on a fixed income or in poverty, these health issues are only made worse by the rising costs of living and health care. And the lack of social interaction also plays a major role. The CDC calls loneliness and isolation in older adults public health risks, leaving this population with increased risks of premature death, dementia, and suicide, among other serious medical problems. Today, we'll explore how these issues are impacting South Florida's older adult population and meet the people helping older adults and their caregivers navigate the challenges that come with aging. Joining me now to share more is Trish Ernst, Communications Director for the Area Agency on Aging Palm Beach Treasure Coast, and she works with Diana Bruno, who is the Helpline Manager also at the Area Agency on Aging. Thank you guys for being here.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you for having us. Let's start off with, if people are unfamiliar with the organization, what should they know about it?
Arlene, the Area Agency on Aging is an outgrowth of the Older Americans Act. There is one available to every adult in the United States. Depending on population, in Florida we happen to have 11 because of our very large senior population. Our mission really is to advocate and support seniors, also adults with a disability, and certainly those who care for them. The goal, of course, is to help them remain independent, living with dignity, and have resources for their well-being.
That's such a beautiful thing that you guys do. What would you say is the biggest issue your clients are facing?
Sadly, at the moment, food and shelter are really the greatest needs for the urgent calls. Always there is a need for in-home health care, home-delivered meals, and sort of transportation to and from doctor appointments and such. But food and shelter still remain the top needs.
Basic necessities, really. What would you say are the most in-demand programs and resources?
Certainly with our agency, it's the Helpline. The Helpline really makes up about half of our staff, and Diana can delve certainly more into that.
I was going to say it's a perfect segue to Diana and what people can expect when they call.
They can expect a live person to answer their call. A specialist will answer with compassion and empathy that will provide information and resources based on their need.
And what is the process if someone picks up the phone and finally decides to make that step? What can they expect?
Sure, so our specialists will answer that call and will talk to them, try to find out what their needs are. If they are looking for in-home services, we do manage the state priority list. We are the gateway for the Medicaid long-term care program that provides community-based services as well as financial assistance to pay for an assisted living.
What are you hearing from the community as their most dire needs, their most important needs right now?
Sure, I'll piggyback with what Trish said. Transportation is one of the biggest needs, housing, food assistance, and in-home services.
And it's probably a very rewarding job. You get to you get to speak to people who call in needing help, and you kind of walk them through that process. Tell us some of those success stories.
Sure, so I've been with Area Agency on Aging for 11 years. I think I've heard so many rewarding stories, which is the reason why I continue to stay with this agency. Recently, we had an 85-year-old woman call the Helpline, feeling very depressed and overall very lonely. Didn't have no one to help her bathe or dress, clean her home, and our specialist was able to connect her with resources. And recently she sent us a letter showing her gratitude, stating that we've become her angels, her light, and no longer is feeling alone because she does have someone coming in every day to help her.
Trish, you probably have stories as well. Diana, 11 years, that's commendable, that's amazing. And Trish, I'm sure you've worked right alongside people every day.
Absolutely, and I do have a story I'd love to share that comes actually from our foster grandparent program. Our foster grandparent program matches low-income seniors with at-risk special needs children, and they volunteer in the classrooms under the guidance of the classroom teachers. Many success stories having to do with children's progress, but this success story is one of our volunteers, Marion Meyer, who has been a foster grandparent, I think, for more than 5 years.
Wow.
She is a cancer survivor, and this year she was named and celebrated as the Outstanding Senior Volunteer for the Palm Beach County School District. She's known as Grandma Mary, and we were invited to be there for the celebration, which was a complete surprise to her, by the way, and so touching. And she is such a dedicated, extraordinary woman. We have really almost 100 like her who are serving at-risk children in the schools. So very proud of that program.
Wow, Grandma Mary, we have to have her on next time. Thank
Grandma
you,
Mary.
Grandma Mary. And you know, what is it like for these kids who get this influence, this extra help, this mentor almost as a grandparent?
It is absolutely a mentor. They do mentor and tutor.
Aww.
They have a curriculum for each child. The teachers are really the ones who write the success stories because they're there to measure the success of these children who do get the extra help, and it's pretty incredible. And as you might imagine, after COVID, the need is greater than ever. There's a lot of talk about the lost learning. So these volunteers are certainly there to help with that.
Right, that's
and
amazing.
help them succeed.
And you know, they're volunteering their time, but sometimes caregivers are put in situations where they have no choice, and that's a whole other part of what your program does and how they help. Tell us more about that.
Absolutely. We have a couple ways in which we help caregivers. I'll speak to one, and then I'm going to ask Diana to continue. We have a healthy living department, which offers many evidence-based workshops, but the one for caregivers is called Powerful Tools for Caregivers. It's an evidence-based 6-week workshop, which comes from Stanford University, and it helps these caregivers learn to deal with their emotions, with the stress, help with depression, help with grief, really helps give them tools to navigate all the steps that are necessary for a caregiver. So it's a great and very beneficial program for caregivers. And then we do offer guidance for caregiver support and other opportunities through the helpline, which I'll let Diana speak to.
Sure, Diana, tell us about it.
Sure, so we do have several programs, state, federal funded, that provide respite care for caregivers, someone that can go into the home, stay with the senior while the caregiver can have time for themselves. There's also adult daycare options.
Do they do more than the respite? Do they help with maybe showers, or how does it work?
Yes, it provides someone to help with bathing, dressing, personal care, assistant with the cleaning of the home, and companionship.
How can volunteers help?
We actually have several volunteer opportunities. If they qualify, we would love more foster grandparents to serve our children in the area. But also our Healthy Living Department is very, very interested in volunteers to help lead the workshops and to help actually with paperwork and all the documentation that's necessary. So they can be volunteers in the field, or they could actually be more or less clerical assistant volunteers with the organization.
Well, Trish, Diana, you do so much to help people in need and an underserved population for sure. Thank you so much for being here and sharing.
Oh, thank you very much. We're happy to be here.